Hi, Ree. How are you there? So tonight, I flipped this coin, a tarot coin, and I asked if it's the right night to read you a spread. And it said yes. So here we are. So the first thing I'm gonna do is shuffle it. I don't shuffle it like you do the other cards because the card is made of paper and it's fragile. And I'm doing this thinking of you and your energy here. So I'm going to cut it. So I asked you what you want to ask. Tarot, you want to ask what the next year holds, right? So first we're going to set aside one card that will summarize everything later after we do the whole spread. So I have a spread of my own wherein I'm trying to develop my own style. I will get to the part where I will study other spreads, but right now I'm doing my own. So I'm going to put a first 3 layers composed of 9 cards. Each layer has 3 cards, and it will be a gradual reading. The theme or the mood will be set by the first layer. So the next layer would be a clarification of the first layer, and then also the third layer. So let's do the first layer and see the initial picture of your next year. So we're not gonna do reversals yet because I'm only studying the symbols, okay? So I'm going to change it to the its upright position. Ooh. So alright. So the first card I got was this, the Judgment card. This is number 20. Oh, number 20. This is the second to the last card in the Major Arcana. And the next one I got was in reversal of this one. 2 of Wands. And the Ace of Wands. So your next year would be really interesting, I think. Look at this card. It's full of stuff in there, full of symbols. Naked people. free naked people. And you're gonna be judged. They're gonna be judged. You're gonna be judged by what? What is judgment, by the way? Oh, hold on. Were they being resurrected? Are those coffins? Coffins in the middle of the ocean? Alright, let's try to read these. Okay. So next year would be, according to this card, interesting. So your actions, everything that you were doing for the past years would be judged. Whether if it's what? What are your scales of judgment? Is it good or bad? Sense or nonsense? Did you do the things that you needed to do in your life? Did you leave a stone unturned in your life? If you're gonna be judged, if you're going to be the judge of your own life, will it be worthy of, would you say that you've lived life worthy for a human to live? This is pretty interesting, and that is followed by this card. So 2 is a symbol of a split, and the wand represents creative ideas. There's a split of creative ideas, but the world is in your hand. I think this is a pretty good card, because although there's a split in there, you are the one holding the world. You have it. Look, the person here is not confused. So if the wands represent ideas, creative ideas, and the person here holds the world, maybe the next year would be a binding of those ideas that were split. But you're looking towards the waters there. There are the waters. The waters represent the unconscious. That's what I learned. And that is followed by the Ace of Wands. So I was just reading a book on tarot, something I bought from a thrift store online, and it mentioned there that aces are the summary of of the court card. For example, all the wands, all the cups, all the swords, all the pentacles are represented by the aces. So a creative idea is going to come up and to start next year. So you're going to be judged whether your actions or there's going to be deciding moment, a conclusion moment next year. And I think it's binding of ideas, and also a new idea coming up. So that's the first layer. That's the theme of the reading. Now we're going to the next layer to ask the forces that makes us move. If my first interpretation, my interpretation of the first layer is approved. So let's go for the clarification. Yay. Oh. Okay. Whoa. So the first one I got for when I asked for clarification is the Magician. So Magician is part of the Major Arcana, and according to what I've read, Major Arcanas are yes cards. So when you ask a question and you got a Major Arcana card, any Major Arcana card, it's a yes. So the first question there was, did I get the first layer right? I said yes. And also subject for interpretation. But here's the next card that I got. This is the Ace of Cups. And the third is the King of Wands. So let's see. Let's first start with the Magician. Whoa. The Magician. The Magician there got all the court card symbols. The cup that symbolizes emotions. The sword that symbolizes reason and action. The wand that symbolizes creative ideas, knowledge, and the pentacles that symbolize or represent mana or riches or wealth. And next here, everything is going to be in your realm, and you're gonna be able to have all your tools ready for next year. That's amazing. And look, there's an infinity sign in your head. This one. This. And you're holding a baton up and down. Symbolizes, the gesture of his hand and the positioning, symbolizing that, that phrase, as above, so is below. This. And I love flowers. And it has a lot of flowers in here, and anything that has flowers, I think, is a good card. You know, as they say, you don't, with all the forces in the universe, get to make a flower bloom as you wish. You need gentle care, and a whole lot more mysterious things to make a flower bloom. Maybe the botanist got it all figured out, but symbolically, flowers are a symbol of mystery. And I think that's good. So next year, it will be all in there for you. The things that you need, you'll be able to use them. And for another clarification, we have this, the Ace of Cups. So as I've said a while ago, aces represent a new journey. So look, I don't know if this is an overflow of emotion or it will be a connection, the start of an emotional connection, or an overflow of of emotions next year. I don't know. Or finally you get to spill your emotions, because I think you're that person who is pretty reserved with his emotions. I don't know, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a good card. And this is a pretty interesting card. The King of Wands. So you know what's a king? A just king knows the weakness and the strength of his kingdom and decides, considering both. And what is a wand? A wand is creativity, and you are a pretty creative person. You must be the king of your creative ideas and decide upon your creative ideas as a king decides, as a just king decides. So there are a lot of symbols here, like for example a lizard. I have not read symbologies of lizards, so I think that is for my growth. But if you know, I think you'll interpret more on how to govern your creative ideas next year. Lizard is... Oh, I remember something about lizards. That they are resilient. For millions of years, they have survived evolution. Lizards are resilient. And there's a lot of lizards in here. I don't know what about resilience. There's a lizard in there, in the cape. And red is the clothing of the king, and that's passion. And his hair too. I think you're a pretty passionate person. But you need to be a just king with your creative ideas. Now let's find out if those layers made sense. Let's go to the third layer. Ah, okay. Okay. So for the third layer, we got the Six of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Hermit. This is in reversal, but there's Hermit. It's a yes. So in this card, you get to be the king, and in here you get to be the leader, a warrior too. You are the one riding the horse, meaning you are the one on a higher position. And amongst all those ideas represented by the other wands, you must really claim your spot, that you are the one in the elevated space, because they're going to follow. But this card appeared. So the 5 is a number of difficulty. And it also was a symbol of difficulty, this card. And what is Pentacles? It represents wealth and mana. There will be a difficulty there next year, I guess. But you know, it's not just financially. It can be emotional clarity, abundance, or ideas, or I don't know. It's gonna be difficult, but it's not impossible. And that brings us to the last card. It's the Hermit. I was beginning to think that you have this in you too, the Hermit energy. Whereas we've been friends for a year, I guess. And with a year, I've noticed you take your time to really contemplate things, process things in yourself. And I think that's your strength. You're not the person who just steps on the accelerator and go, unlike me. That's me. You get that Hermit, a strength you can use to contemplate things. And I think even though this comes up, this difficulty and riches, whatever riches this is talking about, still you have the richness of your skill to contemplate. So with this spread, there's a lot of lines, straight lines. I've been remembering the dream that you had. You told me about dream. You were in the sea and there's a line in there, and you were positioning yourself to be in the end of the line, I guess. There are a lot of lines. Look, look. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to there's a line. Look at is that a horn or a trumpet? A line, a line, a line, a line, a line, 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 and a line. I wonder what's with lines here. Straight lines, straight upward lines. Let's see if what's straight lines? Are you being called to be straight? To follow a straight line? Are you being zigzaggy? Because this is already next year, right? Are you being called to prepare for straight line? I'm not sure. What are straight lines telling us? Let's see how do we summarize this with this card? Another one with a straight line and lizard. Next year would be interesting for you, Ray. Look, the direction is left. So that means it's not backwards. It's just considering the left side. And resilience. Left side resilience, straight line. You're a knight with red, passionate red hair and passionate red, I don't know what to call this one. And you're wearing a sort of clothing with symbols of lizards. Resilience. And you're going to be navigating an arid part of life, the desert. You're gonna be one with your true self next year. Thank you for listening to this reading. And I'm having goosebumps, so I must stop. I don't know what it means.